for example, then people around you will either punish you for your greed or identify with the greed, and you will experience this greed towards you somehow.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're really pointing to, the interconnected nature of everything. Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Well,
I have a question about the similar experience.
yeah.
How much my intention weighs there? Let's say, like, if a child goes in the store and steals food because he wants to feed his family, and the owner is really mad, obviously, but his intention was...
Correct. So that's the key, is that if...
What will this child experience? You know, if we see a similar result, the fact that he stole...
But if he stole for a good purpose, then there's going to be that mixed result. Whereas if we steal because we don't like the person and we want to harm the person, big difference. So again, the key factor is intention. That's the key factor.
So it weighs more than the action.
Of course. Yeah. Not only, but it's the main factor.
Okay, so I have two questions.
Yeah.
First, about you said before when you're explaining the analogy with the thief and everything.
Yeah.
You told them that when you do something, you have an imprint in your mind, and then from that you have the action.
No, you
Not
have the
not
result.
action, you have the result. Yeah. So you do something bad, for instance, and then because you did something bad, you have an imprint.
Again, remember the imprint is just a concept to describe the process. In some systems in Buddhist philosophy, when we talk about action and result, they don't use the concept of imprint. It's just a concept, so we shouldn't hold on to it too tightly. Where is this thing called an imprint? It's not really like that. Just like, where is this thing that is a seed? I mean, it's just concepts to understand the process. So again, imprint is just a concept to understand the process from action to experience. That's all.
Okay, and I have another two questions. First of all, I didn't understand the similar tendency.
Oh, it just means we develop the habit of doing that thing again.
Yeah, because.
Because if we do it once, then it becomes easier to do it, and the more we do it, the easier it becomes to keep doing it. That's all. It's just developing the habit.
And the third question is the difference of bad and good. Who decides what's good and what's bad?
The interconnected nature of reality decides.
Okay.
There's no one up there goes, that's good, that's bad. So it's the interconnected nature of everything is even to say that decides is making it into a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds a bit awkward, but it's basically there's no one outside the system that is determining that.
So why killing is bad and not
Because it goes against the interconnected nature of everything.
killing or bad things? What about
Well, anything that goes against it. I mean, again, bad or non-virtuous is defined as anything that creates suffering. It's defined as anything that works against that interconnected nature.
I don't really understand.
Yeah, because we need to understand the interconnected nature.
Okay.
I think maybe we don't understand because we are far from our nature. Like as I practice more, I immediately feel when I do something good or something bad, even if it's only my intention because of mindfulness maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If it's harder for me to lie.
Sure.
I just lied. So bad and good, if we are connected to our nature, we instantly know what's bad and what's good.
I mean, you're right. When we get into really to mindfulness and we get into the deeper levels of the mind, then you can sense at an intuitive, direct level whether things are sort of in harmony or not.
And another thing is that I started to volunteer and I didn't think about it. It's just going out of and knowing how to deal with...
Often the problem is that we get caught up in our coarse conceptual mind, and that's far removed.
That's why it's not by logic.
And that's far removed from the interconnected nature of
But
things.
still, about the Holocaust, you know that things very, very similar to Judaism. Very, very similar. And there, many times the answer is that we cannot understand. It's time and it's... But the Holocaust, many say there is no answer. Even this cannot answer it because so many millions of people and so many things to the, not only the Holocaust, all around.
There's a lot of tragedy.
people.
Just look what's happening nearby here, in Syria. I mean, it's tragic.
Yeah. So there are things that maybe
Yeah.
we cannot explain.
Yeah.
I want to comment about this, that this is a huge difference between Judaism and Buddhism. The whole idea of karma is very different in the Judaism, and I think that maybe this is the reason that some of us are having difficulty for personally, yes, because of course one of the big sentences in the Bible says, good man, and it's bad for him. צדיק ורע לו. ממש לא.
Yeah, last question, then we'll take a tea break.
Number 4, do you have an example for the fully ripened?
Yeah, fully ripened just means the very life we're in. So now, in this life, we have experiences which are the results, and then every action we do creates more imprints. And at the end of this life, as we're going through the death process, then one imprint will ripen to determine what the next life is going to be. That next life is the fully ripened result. So our very life here as a human is the fully ripened result from the previous life. So fully ripened result is an actual life. That's all it means. Okay, it's time for a tea break. And then when we come back, we'll move on to the middling and great capacity level of the Lamrim teachings. Okay? So let's take a tea break. Come back at 3:30.
Well, the reason is that we've got a short time and I want to present a lot of material, and also I tend to like the discussion in the class. Of course, if we've got a longer course and lots of time, then it's good to go into the discussion groups, but I just decided that for effectiveness, it would be, since we've only got a couple of days, it's probably better to just do the extra class and more discussion, that's all. But yeah, I mean, if we have a longer course, then a discussion group is good. Coffee now is a bit late, but I mean, herbal tea is fine. Some sort of herbal tea. Sure.
I'm practicing as a beginner, but I want to do more of it. My goals are doing psychotherapy, and I feel like I need to clear with my mind by practicing all the way. When we do this,
Yes.
the breath, I feel like it's stable that I've gotten really connected to this idea of having it stable, being able to hold on to a thought.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really like ping pong ball.
Yeah.
And I know how to ride it, but
Yeah.
not
Sure.
So that's one thing. The
Right.
second thing is, I think, like, not always present emotionally. And I want
You
to be
mean
able to process it.
you're getting caught up, or you're cutting, or you're sort of distancing?
Both, and either caught up in
Distance, yeah. That's normally what we do. If we get too caught up, we just distance ourselves.
identify with
Yeah.
what's happening, and then I go and become very intellectual. I want to be able to process it and process emotions.
Yeah. I think then what can be very helpful is a little bit the practice we did at 9 o'clock, the just observing the mind. We're going to do that practice tomorrow morning before breakfast. Is to just the shamatha practice of just observing the mind and observing thoughts, emotions and stuff come up. I think this, and we're going to do the related practice of just resting in awareness. I think those two practices are excellent practices, and that's why I promote them a lot, because like you, many people like myself are caught up in our stuff. We're overwhelmed by our mind and we don't know how to deal with it, so then we just distance ourselves and it's a mess. So if we do this practice, which is very challenging because we're not used to just observing, is that we can develop our capacity to be present with thoughts and emotions and everything, to not get caught up in them and not needing to distance ourselves from them. So I think that's why I mean, this is the sort of practice that I emphasize a lot and I find very helpful personally. Are these two practices which we're going to do tomorrow morning, the observing the mind practice and then just resting in awareness. So doing these two practices, I think, can be very, very beneficial. If you want to get into these practices but you really can't even sort of get into them at all, then maybe it's good for some time to use the breath just to get more focused, more stable, more calm. Maybe some weeks or months to do that, and then when you feel you've progressed a little bit and you're a little bit more stable, then you can switch into these practices, and then you can sort of get a little bit of a running start in them. But I personally feel these two are the key. And we're going to do them tomorrow morning.